Yeah, hold on. Tune.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. מה טוב, בנאים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, בנאים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, בנאים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, בנאים שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov, בנאים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, בנאים שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How wonderful it is to be back. How wonderful it is to be in this space with all of you, to be with my clergy partners, to be with our musicians, to be with this glorious community, both here and those who are in our online community. So I invite those who are here, turn around to the camera in the back, say Shabbat Shalom, wave to our communities, to be one, connected. Beautiful. And on this very special Shabbat in San Diego, it is Pride Shabbat. It is a very special time in this community. But why does San Diego seem to be doing it a bit differently than anywhere else in the country? So we found out why. It has to do with the weather. It's very true. It's shocking to learn, I just learned this about 15 minutes ago, that when the National Pride Parade and marchers decided to create this National Pride weekend, that there were too many groups at the same time competing for different things all over the country, so they decided to spread it in different weekends in June. But one weekend in June, it got rained out in San Diego, and they said, no more June gloom, we're moving to July. So in this awful weather that we have here, one rain event scared away hundreds of thousands of people. And so that's why we celebrate mid-July.
Welcome to California,
Welcome
Rabbi.
to California. It's been here a few years already, you know. I'm still not getting used to it. But all, it's wonderful. And I want to share that tonight is really about a celebration of love, a celebration of community, a celebration of those who are part of our LGBTQIA community, both here, our allies who continue to support and love and embrace them, and those of us in this community to see Judaism as it truly is, ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, loving your neighbor as yourself in the truest and in the highest form. And tonight you'll notice that our liturgy, our music, is mostly composed of 3 members of the LGBTQ community, Julie Silver, Debbie Friedman, and Alana Arian. So we are very excited that tonight, many of you have heard and sung along to a lot of their music throughout the years, but tonight we celebrate that moment. In the Clergy Corner that I put out earlier today, I said the following of Abraham Joshua Heschel, where he said, "Humankind will not perish for want of information, but only for want of appreciation. The beginning of our happiness lies in the understanding that life without wonder is not worth living. What we lack is not a will to believe, but a will to wonder." So I'm going to invite you, whether you're here in person, whether you're online, I'm going to invite you to take a moment. What is one wonder that you experienced this week? One moment. Perhaps it was the telescope that brought us new dimensions of space. Perhaps it was an interaction that you had with a family or friend. Perhaps it was sitting at the beach at sunset or experiencing birds in flight. Whatever it may be, take a moment to find the appreciation, to slow down as Shabbat invites us to hold on to that moment. Okay. In order to bring our light, more light into this moment, I'm going to invite all those who consider themselves affiliated with the LGBTQ community, whether that means you are a part of the community in its form, you are an ally, however you view yourself. I invite you to come up. You're going to light our Shabbat candles this evening. We want to honor you, so come on up and join us up here in the front. On this Shabbat of LGBTQ Pride Weekend, we welcome the Shabbat into our midst. On this night, we express the love in our hearts for those everywhere. We celebrate that we were created in a divine image. We pray on this Shabbat that all people will be able to escape oppression and taste the freedom of the Promised Land. As we light our Sabbath candles, let their glow light our way from the closets that still hold us in darkness. Let the Shekhinah, God's presence, lead us with a pillar of smoke by day and a pillar of fire by night through any wilderness toward equality. May these Shabbat lights inspire each of us to wholeness and holiness. We bring in the warmth, the feeling, the greeting of Shabbat. First, we turn to one another, behind you, in front of you, around you. Say Shabbat Shalom to someone. Meet someone new, perhaps. Those of us online, write a Shabbat message on the chat if you're able to know your presence is felt here as well. Kabbalat Shabbat, we begin this evening opening our hearts, opening our souls. Page 332, we begin with Yedid Nefesh.
Yedid Nefesh, Aparachaman, Meshol Chavdecha, El Ritzonecha, Yarut Avdecha, Kemo Ayal, Yishtachabeh El Muladarecha, Yerablo Yedidutecha, Minofetzu Bechotam, Yalalai lai lai lai, Yalalai lai lai lai, Yalalai lai 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 lai, Yalalai lai lai, Yalalai lai lai lai, Yalalai lai lai lai, Yalalai lai 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 lai, Yalalai lai lai, Yalalai lai lai lai, Yalalai lai lai lai, Yalalai lai 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 lai, Yalalai lai lai, Yalalai lai lai lai, Yalalai lai lai lai, lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yalalai lai 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 lai, yalalai lai 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 lai, yalalai lai 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 lai, yalalai lai lai lai, yalalai lai lai lai, yalalai lai 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 lai, yalalai lai lai, yalalai lai lai lai, yalalai lai lai lai, yalalai lai lai lai
Back to
lai.
page 14, Shir Chadash.
Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash, Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru shir, Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash. We will sing unto God a new song.
Chadadi Likra Kala, page 20. We join together.
Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat lekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala זכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, בשם ותפארת ולתהילה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני אלייך נגלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בקבלה. בואו ושלום עצרת פעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, צוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת, בקבלה. We, having welcomed each other, having welcomed the Sabbath bride, we turn to page 146 as we join together in our call to prayer. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai la lai lai la lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai la lai lai la lai lai, yai lai 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 la lai, yai lai 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 la lai, yai lai lai lai. Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. We join together in the English on our screens. You have loved the people Israel with a never-ending love. You have given us your Torah, laws, and statutes to guide us so that our lives may be filled with holiness and happiness. We know that we must find ways to strengthen our faith and hope in you. Your Torah acts as our inspiration. Help us, O God, to find ways to renew our commitments as Jews. Teach us to feel proud of all our identities. For you, Eternal One, made us who we are. We say, praised are you, source of all, who is the lover of the people Israel. Page 148. Ahavat olam, Beth Israel, Amcha hafta נשמח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר, ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai You may be seated. And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto their children, and you shall speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hands, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorpost of your house, and upon your gates, upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. Our people came out of Egypt a mixed multitude, the spray of dividing waters, sparkling diamonds all around them. We stood together at Sinai, all of us, future, present, and past, amid the rumble of thunder and the crack of bright lightning to enter into covenant with the one who loves us, in whose shining image we are all created over and over again. We have wandered bleak landscapes, built flimsy tents of skin and then houses of stone. We have planted orchards and vineyards, seen 2 temples rise and then go down in the surging flames, forcing us into exile. We have loved and lost, grieved and danced, transgressed and celebrated, hidden, suffered, thrived. And we gather here this day in the community of our people, a mixed multitude. And we sing out, "Hear, O Israel, we stand together," all of us, descendants of the single first human created on the 6th day, and of our myriad parents down through the generations, too numerous to name. We stand together, we link arms, and we pray. Blessed are you, Creator of the universe, who sanctifies us with the commandment to love ourselves and one another in all our varied ways, and blesses us with a diamond-bright radiance that still ripples out from your first spoken words of creation. We join together, page 152, as we sing Mi Chamocha. Yai lai lai, yai la 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 la, yai lai lai la 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 la, yai lai lai, yai la 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 la, yai la lai lai la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, lo rak tehilot ozei feled, lo rak tehilot ozei feled. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ויאמרו, זה אלינו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Ya la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Page 153, Hashkivenu, we join together. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep but safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Oh, Adonai. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. Beni uvein b'nei Israel oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru b'nei Israel et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני. את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. Shabbat vayinafesh, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. We rise together on page 155 as we begin our Amidah together. We'll continue silently through page 167 using the words of our Siddur, our prayer book, or the words of your own heart. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. I will build this world from love. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. You must build this world from love. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. If we build this world from love, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai, then God will build this world from love. Yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibane, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai. Olam chesed yibane, yalalai, lai, lai, yalalai, lai.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
In our tradition, we have a bracha, a blessing. It says, Baruch atah Adonai, she'asani b'tselem Elohim, which means, blessed are you, Adonai, who makes me in the image of God. Something that we say in the Sim B'chol Yom, in the daily blessings, daily miracles that we get to say every morning. And in July of 2022, especially on this Shabbat, we celebrate Bride both and throughout our San Diego community. We do so with a keen awareness of celebrating the many advances that are made in support of the LGBTQIA community. Yet we remain both aware and vigilant in efforts to limit the ability to live life of those who are part of this community to their truest and fullest selves. Over the past few years as one of your rabbis, I have been inspired by not only those who consider themselves part of this community, but the incredible amount of allies that are indeed part of the fabric of our Beth Israel community. Tonight, we're going to hear a few words of inspiration and wisdom. First, from immediate past president and board member Kim Carnot, an active congregant, weekly Shabbat greeter, and recent adult B'nai Mitzvah, Bob McNeese, as they share some thoughts and their own stories as they link their journeys to this important evening and a weekend of pride. Their stories, their journeys should be reminders to all of us that we welcome all who seek to enter our gates, a wellspring and a dwelling place on life's sacred journey. Baruch atah Adonai she'asani b'tselem Elohim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who makes me in the image of God, and I delight in calling upon Kim.
Thank you, Rabbi. Is this on? Really? Everybody's shaking their, there it is. I'm like, I don't hear myself any louder. Shabbat Shalom. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Kim Carnot. I am the immediate past president of your board of directors. Prior to moving to San Diego, I lived in Alaska. In Alaska, the number of men greatly outnumber the number of women. The logical conclusion is the odds of finding a suitable mate are high. However, women are cautioned that the odds are good, but the goods are odd. Whether I was searching for a suitable man, it was in Alaska that I met the love of my life, Tracy. We were working for the Republican-led Alaska legislature. Shortly after I realized I was in love, and before we had even figured out the particulars of our relationship, Tracy and I were fired by the senator we were working for. Our termination had nothing to do with the quality of our work. We were fired because she was sure that having lesbians on staff would be frowned upon by her fellow senators and impact her ability to garner support to be the next Senate president. Fortunately, not all Republicans in Alaska were so close-minded, and we both found new jobs. Tracy became director of the Department of Retirement and Benefits for the state of Alaska, and I became chief of staff to the co-chair of the Senate Finance Committee. In 2006, we moved to San Diego. We registered as same-sex partners. We got married in 2008 when the state's ban on same-sex marriage was overturned in California. I was pregnant with Emma at the time, and like to say, I didn't want to have a baby out of wedlock. We went to the courthouse to wed in the window of time between the California Supreme Court decision and the passage of Prop 8, which amended the state constitution to only recognize marriage between a man and a woman. Between 2008 and 2013, when the California Supreme Court finally declined to stop gay marriages, there was a lot of uncertainty. For instance, could we file our taxes jointly as a married couple? And during that time, both of our children were born. Emma was born in 2009, and Harley was born in 2012. There was a lot for Tracy and me to think about when the kids were born. They are both biologically mine, so there was the very real possibility that particularly should something happen to me, she might not be recognized as their mother. We sought every opportunity to prevent that scenario. Tracy is listed as the father on both birth certificates. There was not an option for a parent A and a parent B. Both kids have her last name as theirs. We gave them my last name as their middle name. We have extensive estate planning documentation to further establish her rights as a parent. We joined Beth Israel in 2010. We met Tammy Venner and Rabbi Cantor Bernstein, and staff who welcomed us despite all the categories we check: interfaith, lesbian, new parents, and of course related to those crazy carnos that go back multiple generations in Beth Israel's history. At Beth Israel, we found our home. Nobody appeared to care that Emma and Harley have two moms. We made wonderful friends, and so did our children. I was asked to join the board in 2013. At that time, one of the reasons given for asking me to join was that there was a need for gay representation on the board. I remember at that time thinking what an odd reason that was. I hardly felt that I represented that community and really thought other things I brought to the table would be valued above that characteristic. But nonetheless, I was flattered to be asked to serve and happily accepted. Looking back with the benefit of 10 years, yes, I've been on the board for a very long time, I now realize how incredible that moment and that ask really were. The board represents our diverse synagogue membership. With that ask, the nominating committee and board acknowledged that there were members of the Beth Israel community who were not adequately represented or could not see themselves in the board composition. They were aware of blind spots and sought to address them. I eventually moved up through leadership and was asked to be board president. What an incredible opportunity to serve, and an incredible statement that this congregation elected a lesbian to that position. I am grateful to be part of this community, which has afforded me space to be who I am and has respected my voice and my family. Even being asked to speak to you this evening is an honor. But outside of the safety of our walls in the community, things are not okay. Last month, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Moments later, Justice Clarence Thomas wrote in a concurring opinion that the court should reconsider 3 other rulings that protect a married couple's right to access contraception, the right of same-sex people to engage in consensual sex, and the constitutional right to same-sex marriage. There is so much in the overturning and the signaling of future rollbacks, not to mention the attack on the Capitol, and not enough time this evening as we enter Shabbat together to unpack it. But one thing is clear: hate is hate, and we cannot put our collective heads in the sand and wait to only speak up when something directly impacts us as an individual. Each of us needs the other to acknowledge and stand up to oppression, even if we are not the target. We must vote and speak out in solidarity with the oppressed. We need to be allies at a minimum, and if you have the conviction, be advocates. For those of you who are not familiar with the term ally or advocate, think of it this way. An ally supports you by sitting in the audience, smiling, and clapping during and after your performance. An advocate is the person who makes the performance possible, introduces you on stage, and provides a strong review and testimonial afterwards. That moment when Tracy and I found jobs after being marginalized, that moment when I was asked to join the board of Beth Israel because I was gay, those were advocates. Allyship can only go so far. To drive meaningful long-term change and progress, more allies will need to become advocates. As Rabbi Hillel taught us, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? If I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? We cannot continue to be bystanders. We know that narrative all too well. The time is now. I hope you will join Beth Israel at Pride this weekend. Thank you for being part of a community that opens doors for others and welcomes them in. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Kim. You're a tough act to follow, always. Thinking of those in our community who are in need of healing. Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, for complete recovery of mind, of body, of spirit. There are those that linger in our hearts for whatever reason. And there are those that we know our community is thinking of at this time. Ari Zalman Leib Ben Shoshana Moshe, Dina Leib Bat Zohara, Lauren Berman, Grayson DeNovo, Samantha Farish, Jessica Lynn Friedman, Denise Garrick, Nancy Gordon, Elliot Goldstein, Robert Gruder, Alan Hobbenstock, Ellen Hutt, Beth Johnson, Ruthie Jordan, Richard Kitson, Hadass Kramer Najari, Marshall J. Lewis, Nachamat Bat Rafael, Claudia Liebenson, Maria Loro, Michal Iran Bat Yael, Jim McIndoe, Yoram Minas, Jonathan Newlander, Stanley Rabin, Lynn Richard, Sharon Ritter, Galina Robalchenko, Jenny Schnitzer, Rhonda Schwartz, Lana Schaffer, Bernard Stein, Seth Streichler, Lynn Slotkin, Cindy Spector, Eileen Tatro, Gerald Trimble, David Tossman, Fred Valfer, Kathy Weil, John Weil, Eric Winston, George Wise, and Todd Villa. If there's a name or names you'd like to add this time, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours.
Terry Miller and Ian Brisky.
As we join together in a prayer of healing, we join together for Mishabera. This time I'd like to call upon Bob McNeese.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
For everybody who don't know me by now, my name is Bob McNeese. You see me greeting everybody as they were coming into the service this evening. And I'm a member of the Men's Club, as well as one of the newly elected board of directors of the Men's Club. And I'm very proud of that. As Kim, I was the opposite. I grew up in Arizona. 120 degrees in the heat. Very opposite. Although when I was in the Navy, we did go up to Alaska. It's like, oh my, it's like the difference was incredible. Beautiful, but cold. But I grew up there. I was the youngest of 11 children. Yep, I was a baby, and which my mother delighted in embarrassing about constantly. It's like, because I could literally put my hand on her head and go, who's exactly, Mom? It's like, what's going on here? It's like, who? But yes, I grew up and grew up in a small town. I grew up in a Christian background. And when it became evident about my sexuality, the churches I belonged to, you were either asked to leave or they would throw you out. There was no question. You were wrong. You either had two choices. You either have faith in God or you leave. And I thought, why? Why, if God created me the way I was, why did I have to make that choice? If he loves me, what's the problem? If he has no problem with me, what is the problem? And I started questioning, and that's why I began to withdraw. And as I grew more and more, as I grew up, and asking more and more questions and trying to research and try to do my own journey, what's important to me? Do I just excise God out of my life? Because I can't stop being who I am. But it was during my time in the Navy where believe it or not, people had no problem with me. I had a job to do. That's what they wanted me to do. I was a corpsman. I was there to help them. I was there to heal them. I was there to take care of them. That's what they wanted me to do. And in 1992, when that gays in the military issue came up, I chose to stand up and I chose to speak out. And because of that, I was not allowed to stay. And after that, I stayed in San Diego because, no, they got a beach. Arizona does not have a beach. I want to go there. When it gets hot, I can go there and just splash around in the water. I'm staying. And it was about 4 years later that I met the love of my life, Mark. At the time, like him, we were registered domestic partners. And unfortunately, 6.5 years later, my beloved died. It was before we could get married, which we were planning to do. And at that point in my life was a low point. When I reached out to people, there was no compassion. There was no consolation. There was nothing. And this is why I've devoted my life to being there for other people, for nurturing people, for helping people. Where is it? That began my journey, which, ironically enough, led me to Israel. And as I've discussed with Rabbi Navarez, I say that is where my spiritual rebirth took place. And when I got back, I began conversion classes and never looked back. You know, I said, this is it. This is what I've wanted. This is the enlightenment. This is the truth that I've always sought. And something in my soul always knew this. And the thing that the people kept asking me, and it wasn't a statement. It was a statement. It's like, why do you want to do this when Judaism doesn't accept people like you? I says, are you Jewish? No. It's like, then who gave you the right to speak for the entire Jewish people then? You know? And but I was not swayed. I knew what was right. I knew what was right in my heart and my soul. And so I did. And it was during that time that I started coming to Beth Israel. I didn't know what to expect. This was during Hanukkah of 2019. I didn't know what to expect. I walked in there nervous as can be. I was shaking like a leaf. I says, what? It's like, they're not going to eat me. I already know. But it was enlightening. I says, this is home. It felt like home to me. And later, after the conversion, and I joined Beth Israel because this was my home. And I felt this was my spiritual place that I could come, my solace, my refuge. And the rabbis have been great. This is before Rabbi Navarez came here. The rabbis were great. And since then, I've been, other than COVID, I've been jumping right back into it, volunteering as much as I can to help out and as much as I'm needed. Like I say, I help with the men's club. I help with the photographers for the bar and bat mitzvahs. And I'm proud and honored to do this because I found that love, that acceptance that was so missing in my life. And I am so proud to be here tonight to say this to you, that I really love all the rabbis. Too bad Rabbi Bernstein isn't here. I love you guys. You've been tremendous in my journey. The journey still does continue, and I look forward to increasing that essence and becoming stronger in my Jewish identity. And with all that said, it's like, and with my sexual identity and all these little pieces of this little puzzle that makes Bob Bob. And I say, you can. It's like, I'm a 5-dimensional human being. I'm not these carved out paper dolls that my sisters used to play with in the 60s. It's like fully fleshed out. Here I am. Like me or not, here I am. And I can honestly say right now that after 18 years after Mark's death, I have a new love in my life. He's just wonderful. He's just everything. And I told him, this is what I've been missing. I've waited 18 years. Hey, why not? You wait, it'll happen. It happened, and I am so grateful. And I say thank you that I finally had this man in my life that I can share my life with and my love with in my heart. And I appreciate all of you, and I love you all, and Shabbat Shalom.
The composer Alana Arian offers us these words, a reminder that we have a voice. Our voice is powerful. Our voices can change the world. I will open my eyes.
I will open my eyes.
I will not look away.
I will not look away.
I will use this gift I've been given every day. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world. I will give of myself.
I will give up myself.
I will reach out my hand.
I will reach out my hand.
I will use this heart I've been given to take a stand. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asanu b'tselem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asanu b'tselem Elohim. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Change the world. Many of our members will be using their voices tomorrow, marching together in our Pride Parade. For those of you who are going to be participating in the Pride Parade, we invite you to come up so that we may offer a blessing for you. Come on up. Right there. You're perfect. You're awesome where you are. Exactly. We offer you this blessing for praying with your feet, for marching in pride. Makor HaChaim, source of life, you have blessed each of us with your spirit. In your wisdom, you have made each of us a unique treasure. Mayan Chayenu, wellspring of our lives, Cause us to flow with courage, strength, and compassion to live our stories openly, proudly, and joyfully.
Shekhinah shel ahava. Presence of love, you embrace us with your love. May we embrace ourselves, our partners, our lovers, our friends, our children, our dear ones with the power of your ahava rabbah, your unending, boundless love.
Ruach HaShalom, Spirit of peace and wholeness, open our eyes to the gifts and blessings we offer and receive from each other. Open our hearts to welcome each other fully and truly. Open our hands to embrace, to support, to lift each other with joy, with song, and with deep friendship.
As we celebrate renewal, pride, and community, let us walk together with strength, with compassion, and with love, as we say, Amen.
Amen.
May it be a wonderful Pride experience tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Shabbat Shalom.
I'd like to invite up the president of our board of directors, Dan Jones, for some announcements from our congregation.
I was just going to crouch down. I appreciate you doing
For
that.
you.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you all for being with us here tonight and being in community with us, both here in person and virtually. Thank you to our wonderful musicians who've added so much to our evening. Thank you to Maya and Ari for your voices and your courage to get up here and sing, which is always fantastic. Thank you to Bob and Marty for ushering this evening and welcoming everyone here who is here in person. Thank you to our rabbis for articulating so beautifully this evening who we are, particularly in this moment. We always, in the announcements, you'll always hear a board member pointing people to our website, cbisd.org, for all things Beth Israel. Now, truly, our website does not have all things Beth Israel on it, but it does have a few interesting things on it. And one of them, if you log into it and you go to our mission and value and you read our mission, Congregation Beth Israel, the historic center of Jewish life in San Diego, is an inclusive Reformed congregation that offers a warm welcome and a nurturing home to all those who seek a meaningful and enduring connection to Judaism. So it's right there, front and center, and that is on our website. And that word inclusive is incredibly important, and I think that word inclusive becomes more important every day, every week, every month, every year. If you have never marched with us on Pride, I really recommend it, especially in moments like these when we feel like we may be alone or we may be separated or we may all be in conflict with one another, because when you go to the Pride Parade and you march as Beth Israel, as an inclusive organization, as an inclusive religious organization, and you see the faces of the people watching the parade, and you see the recognition on their face once they realize, what we are, that we're a synagogue, it's really amazing. You want to talk about the importance of allies and advocates, that is where you see those people. And that is where you feel that there is hope. And that really there are more of us together than there are more of us that are at odds with one another. So I just want you to leave you with that, hopefully more positive way of looking at a very complicated world that we live in right now. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks, Dan. Before we begin to conclude our service, I have to take a point of personal privilege by acknowledging someone that you maybe have only seen once or twice, but who has been a regular mainstay in our Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon services with our B'nai Mitzvah, and that is our accompanist, Peter Walsh. Peter has been playing with us whenever Andy decides that he's deserving of a vacation. This is one of those times, and he's also going to be joining us next week as well. but I won't be here to be able to embarrass you. So I just want to thank you publicly and in front of our entire community. It is such a joy playing and praying with you. You add and elevate. You add so much to our services. You elevate our services in such a beautiful way, letting the music shine so that our prayers may be heard. And I mentioned that Peter will be periodically joining us in the future, but he has decided that rather than the every once in a while services that we offer, that taking a full-time job with the LA Opera would be a better gig. So mazel tov on your accomplishment. We turn to page 282 and we rise together for Aleinu L'Shabeach. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Teit Gedula Le'Yotzer Bereshit, Shelo Asanu K'goyei Ha'aratzot, Velo Samanu K'mishpachot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, V'gor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Va'anachnu Koreim U'mishtachavim U'modim Lifnei Melech Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai L'melech al kol haaretz Vayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo Please be seated. We turn now as we think of those who have died at this season, in years past, and in recent days. We're in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days following burial, for Jackie Lovey Sundheim, Edward Serper, Sidel Weinstein, Tamara Strauss, Dorota Landwehr, Harriet Bolleton, Araceli Morales Cornelio, Janet Henry, and Laura Hiawile. If I offer the name of your loved one, I invite you to rise so that we might acknowledge the period of grief that you are in. Finally, we think of those who died at the season in years past. Martin Bacow, Nathan F. Baranov, Morley Barsky, Faye Berman, Louis Berman, Judy Berman, Sidney Brown, Ann Brown, Edwin Brummer, Margaret Butner, Rosella Burns, Lillian Chapman, Bella Coblins, Molly Slavin Cole, Fred Davidson, Anna S. Engelman, Trudy Ennis Holeb, Esther L., J. Robert Feynman, Jackie Flaster, Ada Friedman, William Friedman, Sophie Gass, Ann Gelentier, Michael Gimble, Stacy DeAnne Goldberg, Rita Golding, Ronnie Gordon, Mary Gordon, Esther Graff, Hyder Aaron Hartman, Rose Heller, Lester Himmel, Florence Hirsch, Sam Hochstein, Sidney Horowitz, Robert Itzkin, Gerald Kaplan, Manny Katz, Howard Todd Conderer, Ralph G. Kramer, Bella B. Krasnick, Leonore Lampert, Murray Lampert, Elmer D. Levin, Milton Levy, Morton Liebert, Albert Madalena, Marion Malkus, Jillian Mann, Marvin W. Marcus, Ralph Mark, Alan Markovitz, Helen Marsh, Milton Naper, Paul Merrill, Cantor Sheldon Merrill, Timothy Merker, Jeanette S. Mayer, Mortimer W. Mayer, Marty Morris, Roland W. Mushinetz, Irving Nemmons, Ann Pearl, Seymour Perlman, Dora Plant, Minnie Price, Lillian Rosen Ratner, Naftal Resnick, David Richmond, William Rose, Goldie Rothenberg, Naomi Rothstein, Jean Rubenstein, Don Rubin, William Rubin, Harry Sapowith, Morris Sarachek, Emmanuel Savage, David Schissel, Alvin Schreiber, Esther Schwartz, Robert Schwartz, David J. Segelbaum, Sylvia Scher, Lloyd Jerry Silverman, Rose Snyder, Leon Spector, Bernice Spivak, Rose B. Stein, Deborah Steinberg, Marilyn Stern, Harvey Stewart, Pauline Stone, Robert Stone, Isidore Stritch, Maurice Swimmer, Marcy Uxenberg, Kenneth Warner, Blanche Weinberger, Hilda Weiner, Daniel Weiser, Eric Weiser, Pauline Wender, Joseph Walensky, Alex Wise, Bernice Wolfson, Sima Zibikowski, Isidore Zine, and Gregory Zubarski. Perhaps there's a name on your heart that was not mentioned. I invite you to share that name as our eyes meet. Thank you. We rise together as a caring community and turn to page 294 as we recite the ancient and hallowed words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayeh dechol Beit Israel, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, ta'miran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, u'ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. As together we say, Amen. Amen. I invite you to place your prayer books down, put your arm around the person next to you as we join together in our closing song, Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom, b'imromav, u'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol ועל כל ישראל תהימרו אמן.
As we say Shabbat Shalom, turn to someone, Shabbat Shalom next to you. And we join together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
המוציא לחם מן הארץ.
Te'avon. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I know we have our tribe sirs, our dinner this evening is in the chapel. We invite you there. Everybody else, our oneg is behind you. Shabbat Shalom.